We are now in the fourth calendar year of a global semiconductor shortage, and the ripple effect on the Canadian auto market is becoming more pronounced as the lack of supply dwindles. The average car contains hundreds to thousands of small microchips that are used for everything from triggering airbags to powering your dashboard GPS. So with us this morning is automotive journalist Stephanie Wellcraft. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
So this initial shortage began in 2020. That's when automakers slowed production after the world went into its first COVID lockdown. Why haven't we seen an improvement since then?
The reason is because the automotive industry for years had been operating on a just-in-time system of inventory where there was never an issue with getting inventory when they needed it, and so they ordered it so that they didn't have to keep stock in their production facilities. But for the first time in a very long time, the COVID shutdowns created an issue with having inventory in stock, and it's taken this long for production to catch up. And in fact, it hasn't all the way caught up yet, as you mentioned.
Yeah, well, this is what people are feeling. The supply shortage has obviously led to an increase in the prices of available vehicles. Used cars, and we experienced this in our family, used cars have shot up nearly 50% in the past year. That's according to the Canadian Black Book. And new cars, well, they've jumped more than 17% on average, according to Auto Trader. It's also forcing automakers to decide which cars they're going to produce. What are we seeing on that front?
That's absolutely right. We're seeing two issues on that front, or two directions that automakers are taking on that front. One is that, well, they have to choose where their parts are going, and so they're either going into the higher volume vehicles, meaning the ones that they sell more of, or the higher margin vehicles, meaning the ones they make more money from. So that means that we're seeing the few cars that are getting into dealer lots are either canceled orders that are sitting there waiting for somebody else to pick them up, or they're very high trim vehicles that are the most expensive. They got all the features. And so you're showing up to a dealership sort of with no choice but to pay more than you might have expected for a vehicle. The other side of that is that the low cost vehicles, the base vehicles, are going away to a degree. We've seen the Toyota Corolla has canceled their manual base model, meaning that the base price for that car, not that people were necessarily buying the manuals, but the base price has shot up about $3,000 for the 23 model year. And we're seeing that with a lot of other vehicles as well, the Hyundai Elantra, the Hyundai Venue, those sort of entry-level vehicles, you can't get them for quite as cheap as you used to be able to.
And the same thing with the used vehicles. You know, we have a family member who their vehicle's only a couple of years old. They didn't need it anymore. They sold it and they broke even.
Yes,
it's unreal.
It's incredible.
How long is this supply shortage expected to last? How long are we going to live in this current environment?
Well, that's an excellent question that I don't think anybody has the answer to at the moment. We were starting to hear automakers reporting that they were expecting supply to finally catch up about halfway through this year, but that was before China lifted its zero COVID policy, right. and that has had a huge impact. I don't think the auto industry or any industry really truly knows the full impact yet on that in terms of production coming out of China. So we could see that cause this to drag on even further.
Okay, let's talk to the people who are looking to buy and give them some information. In the Canadian Black Book survey conducted last April, 46% of respondents said that they were planning on buying a vehicle, 46%, either new or used, in the next 2 years, so by April 2024. So what advice do you have for anyone who's considering trading in their current vehicle or just purchasing a new one?
There's two aspects to this. One is if you already have a vehicle that's relatively new, 3 or 4 years old, right now and in the next 3 to 6 months, you're getting an astounding trade-in value on that vehicle. So if you're ready to look at exploring that, some dealerships, sometimes the used vehicles are selling for close to what they would sell for new. You're not going to see that if you get a trade in at a dealership, but you are going to see more money come back to you than you might have a couple of years ago for a similar vehicle. So if you're in that position, go and explore it if you're ready to look at getting something new, and you can wait a little bit for it to show up, because you might find that you get a really good return on that. The flip side of that is be very, very careful if you're going into a vehicle purchase and you're in a position where you still owe money on your current vehicle, and you might have to roll some of that, what you owe, into your financing or for the new vehicle, because what you might find is, or what you will find is, interest rates are higher on the financing than what we've seen in previous years, and you're going to be paying a lot more in the longer term to pay that off than you might have expected in the last couple of years.
You know, we see this in everything, Stephanie, from groceries to buying cars. You just have to rethink how you're doing your purchasing. Great conversation today. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.